Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special UFS live event on our brand new Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. I'm Bates, he's Fish, and I think we've got Dean Millard duck hunting somewhere in the back in the marsh, but we've got an exciting live event program here today, guys. We have so many things to talk about. We've got guests, we've got contests. Oh, and there's something else. Oh, that's right. We have a franchise to give away.
Yeah, we won't be giving it away, but definitely a big auction on tap. It's been busy over the last couple days. As you can see, since the minutes that we've been talking, another bid just came in. We're up to 3,100 USD for the UFHL expansion franchise, with just under an hour to go for the remaining bids to come in. And certainly there's been a bit of a bidding war, and we expect that to continue throughout the final hour of this live stream.
So another bid just came in as we were sitting here talking. Yeah, because it was at $3,000 US about 30 seconds ago. So now $3,100. Dean, I think don't we have a special sound effect? There's something that's got to go along with money coming in, bids coming in. We should test that thing out. There it is. That's the sound we're looking for. Absolutely. And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing the cowboy habit. Going back on my farm roots, back in the day, you got your cowboy hat on, you got your cowboy boots on, and you went out there when you were attending an auction. This is how you dressed up. So I'm kind of dressed up for the day.
Yeah, you're looking the part for sure, looking like you're ready for an auction, and certainly that sound effect is good to hear. And how about that intro to the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network? Just the music there gets a guy fired up, and certainly the blood is pumping, and we're ready to talk some fantasy sports and keep our ears peeled for that sound of money, sounds of bids coming in, and it's going to be a whirlwind final hour. And obviously, if a bid comes in the final minute of the auction, it will be extended by a minute. So we expect there will be extensions at the end of the auction, but the countdown is on now. We're into the final hour.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the guests we've got coming up on the program here today. We've got Rob Love, of course, owner of the Tornadoes, and proud owner and certainly well involved in the Fantalytica program. Luc Grenier, proud owner of the Red Army, is going to be joining us as well, and we'll have Tony C, the Hunch, to help us wrap up the end of this auction as well today. And I want to talk about these contests as well. I want to remind everybody, for anybody that's just tuning in, you still can go get in on some of our contests. Of course, we have the merch store. This is a proud example of my blanket here behind us. If you go to @UFHL League, there's a poll on Twitter. It actually has closed, but I want you to go to that Twitter page, and I want you to find that poll, and I want you to tell us what the most popular response was. And basically the question was, how much do you think this franchise was going to go for at auction? Of course, the poll's closed, so it's not going to change. But that's what we're looking for. We're giving away a 3-pillow set, a blanket, a logo of your choice from the UFHL shop. As well, we have this big reveal. That's right. The UFFS is going to expand, and we're going to reveal that new sport on March the 7th. If you have a guess on what sport you think that is, you can send all of these guesses on both those contests, DM @Zelandria, or send them to info@UFFsports.com. And last but certainly not least, the NFT giveaway. That's going to happen today, courtesy of Rob Love, owner of Tornadoes and Fantalytica at UFFF Sports. And Larry, I want to ask you a little bit about this non-fungible token giveaway and why this is kind of really cool. And of course, Rob's probably going to get into it, in a lot more detail. But just for anybody that's just tuning in, why this is really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's an opportunity certainly for a new user to join the group. You get a free scouting membership as part of the package, which would normally cost $20 US. So you get to sign up a scout yourself, or somebody you know who's into hockey, into scouting. You get that free membership, as well as there will be a hockey prospect that we used Fantalytica's database to select a player that wasn't currently owned in the UFFS platform. So an exciting prospect. We don't want to give away too many details on who that prospect is, but we've certainly went through the database and made a selection. We'll let Rob introduce the prospect and provide sort of some background on Fantalytica. But that's going to be an exciting giveaway. Again, you get the prospect, who would normally cost $20 USD to register platform, as well as a free scouting membership to continue registering more prospects. So can't wait to see who wins that free NFT giveaway and how that prospect pans out in the years to come.
Absolutely exciting stuff. Scouting is the foundation of our platform here. And I also want to point out that we are broadcasting here live on this special event on the UFSN network. The UFSN network, we just kicked off only one week ago. We're really in our infancy here. And I just saw Dean Millard. I think he must have got something. He showed up out of the marsh there. I don't know if he bagged a duck or what's happening, but Dean, fantastic program, officially launching the UFHL now. Watch that. That was a great program.
Thank you. Yes, I'm just tidying things up behind the scenes here, waiting for our first guest, so I wasn't able to join you. But it's been a lot of fun. Larry nailed the Evgeny Malkin trade on our insiders list. So I think, Larry, we should probably be retiring after that first episode, because I don't know how it's going to get any better than that insider episode. We just need the 19 patch on the shoulder for Red Army and Luke Grenier, a.k.a. George Steinbrenner, and we'd be laughing.
Yeah, we'll have to pitch that to Luke today. Make sure he's on board with the number 19 as his shoulder patch. But certainly you're right. That trade involved Luke Grenier and the Red Army trading away their Russian captain, Evgeny Malkin. We'll obviously talk to Luke about that. But like you said, we set the bar pretty high for the insider segment to throw out a big name with a big salary or big cap hit like Evgeny Malkin and say he might be available. And, essentially 24 hours later, he was on the move in a blockbuster trade for Kyle Connor and a couple other pieces going the other way as well to the Elite Assassins. But we'll catch up with Luke about that trade. But certainly the insider segment's off to a strong start and not big shoes to fill, but certainly, like I said, setting the bar high, and it'll be tough to repeat that this coming week in episode 2 of UFHL Now.
Blown out of the water. It's almost like you have inside information there, Insider Larry. No, you guys did a fantastic job. So I want to remind everybody, in case anybody is just tuning in now, that the bids are live on Air Auctioneer. You can see current bid at $3,100 USD. Still a steal. That thing is in my opinion, undervalued. I tell you what, in case you are just tuning in, there's no reason that you probably don't want to even, you want to drop probably easily another $1,000 on top of that. Larry, for somebody that has probably never really heard about this before, might have seen the fact that we're doing this live show on social media, what does this new franchise owner get for the price that they might bid on this today?
Yeah, it's an impressive package with the UFHL expansion franchise. Obviously, you get 2 franchises right off the bat. You get your UFHL franchise, which is our version of the NHL, as well as you get the rights to the UFAHL affiliate, which is in our platform will be the AHL league. So you actually get 2 franchises. You'll get 31 players, 1 player from each of the existing franchises, the same as the Seattle Kraken will get in the NHL. So you get 31 players, 23 for your active roster, 8 for your protected list, or however you want to do that. You can make some side deals and acquire more prospects. And then obviously that protected list pool of players will eventually play for your UFAHL affiliate. So you're starting to build out that UFAHL roster through the expansion draft as well, but certainly setting the foundation for your UFHL roster. So 33 NFTs in total, counting the 2 franchises and the 31 player selections. It's a great package. You look at what some other NFTs are selling for nowadays, and 1 player is selling for more than the current bid on the franchise. So this is a great opportunity to get in. Still on the ground floor, UFF Sports platform will be launching later this month in March, and certainly token sale upcoming likely in May. So it's going to be sky is the limit for this platform, and we're just getting started. So this is a great entry point to become the 32nd franchise in the UFHL and the final chance to be one of the 32 original owners, because only ever be 1 NHL league, the UFHL, on our platform, and none of the players will be duplicated either. So the players that you draft on July 21st, you will have those players and you will own those players as NFTs, as digital assets. So massive package, tons of excitement around this, and we've had I believe upwards of 6 or 7 unique bidders in that 3,100. We started the auction at 1,500 USD on January 1st. It's kind of been steadily climbing up to 3,100, and we expect it won't stop at 3,100 here in the final hour.
Well, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Fish. A couple of key points is non-duplicated, so never duplicated. It's all about asset evaluation and increasing the evaluation of those assets. And if you want to talk about one asset, it could be your franchise as a whole. But we all know that there's many non-fungible tokens within that, and that's what we refer to as NFTs. We've all seen what the NBA Top Shots has done here in the recent last couple of weeks, and it's phenomenal how this thing has taken off. And this is exactly what we've got going on here, at the UFFS and UFHL and UFAHL, and soon to be other sports as well. So this is pretty exciting stuff. $3,100 is in fact a steal. It's a steal. I think we're going to see this thing heat up here at the end of this hour.
Oh, definitely. And you mentioned NBA Top Shots. There are some significant differences with UFF Sports, starting with the utility of your tokens. With NBA Top Shots, you own the token, you can sell it or you can trade it, but there's no gameplay. So here you're using your tokens. Again, once we build out the platform, we have hockey leagues at all levels. They'll be leasing your tokens, will constantly be generating revenue for you. So in the gameplay portion, so that's important. The biggest difference is the blockchain that UFF Sports is built on. It had started with the Ethereum network and transitioned now to the Zilliqa blockchain, which is faster. The speed and the volume of transactions that it can handle is drastically better than the Ethereum blockchain, as well as the transaction fees are significantly lower with the Zilliqa. So that allows you to make a minor trade, a third line player for a sixth defenseman, and not pay an exorbitant fee to make that trade. So it allows for the gameplay, the low transaction fees, as well as, again, the ability to handle more transactions and process them at a faster speed, comparable or better than what Visa and MasterCard do with their ability to handle transactions. So the Zilliqa blockchain has been a wonderful partner for UFF Sports, and we're certainly looking forward to the future with Zilliqa.
Yeah, I can't say enough about our partnership with Zilliqa. Can't say enough about our partnership with Fantalytica. Scouting is the foundation of this platform. And, there's a couple other unique features about UFFS that I don't believe that any other fantasy league has. And you think about it, our regular season continues on into the Klein Cup playoffs. And, of course, you still own those assets. And even if your franchise does not make it into the playoffs, you still have assets that could be playing in the playoffs. And we have a leasing feature for that. So even though you're not in, you're kind of in. You still have someone you can get behind if someone has drafted some of your assets, and you could win, percentage of that prize pool. Prize pool currently, progressive prize pool at over $50,000 US.
There are so many revolutionary, innovative elements, features with the UFF Sports platform. And you mentioned the playoff system, the playoff format. That's something that no other fantasy league really does. Most fantasy leagues, your playoffs take place towards the end of the NHL regular season, but in the UFHL, the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League, the regular season is game 1 to game 82, or this year with the shortened season, game 54 of the NHL regular season. And then what happens is for the playoffs, the franchises that don't make the playoffs in the UFHL, their players that they own that are in the NHL playoffs go into a draft pool. And the franchises that made the UFHL playoffs, of course, they're going to have a number of open roster spots or players that didn't make the NHL playoffs. So they take those players off their roster temporarily for the playoffs, and they draft from that pool of players from the non-playoff UFHL franchises. They select the players that they own as NHL playoff players in that leasing system. So like I said, if the franchise that wins the Klein Cup, a portion of their payout, 50% of the payout goes to the 23 players on the roster that help them win that Klein Cup. And whoever owns those players gets a portion of that payout. So it keeps everybody interested and invested in the playoffs, rooting on their players with other franchises to hopefully earn a payout through following along the UFHL playoffs. So very innovative playoff format. It's one of the selling features for sure for the platform that is different from your standard fantasy league, where every fantasy league's playoffs are pretty much during the NHL regular season. So it ensures that the entire season, regular season and playoffs are a big factor on the UFF Sports platform.
So I just saw the current bid up on the screen, still sitting at $3,100. About 42 minutes left to get your bid in. on this exciting expansion franchise. And this is not going to happen very often, folks. The only reason that the UFHL is expanding is because we have to, because the NHL is expanding and we mirror the NHL. That's right. We mirror the real world whenever we possibly can in so many ways. I can tell you that Dean Millard, Duckman's Dominations, has probably read the rule book, through and through. If he hasn't, he's probably got a general manager that has, and that's why you hire these people, because this is a very complicated league and you need some help.
Well, we actually, it's great to have that rule book now, which I know so many hours went into it. And the person who is probably the happiest that we have a rule book is Larry, because he won't get questions from me all the time about, can I do this? What do I do this? How do I do this? Is this allowed? Because, there are, fines in our league for different things. So I'm always worried about doing something wrong, and I'm always bugging Larry. So he will be the happiest that we have that rule book now. And it's kind of a good guidebook for people looking to get interested to see just how seriously we mimic the NHL. Really, the only difference is cash allowed in trades, and we auction off our draft picks, and everything else is pretty much status quo with the NHL, right down to waiver call-ups and everything.
Yeah, our rule book is essentially our version of the NHL CBA, right? It's 30 plus pages of information, and we have to give a shout out to Andrea Karanduk, who compiled the UFHL rulebook. She's the commissioner of the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League, and certainly a painstaking process. A lot of hours went into getting down the most minute details in there. So like I said, somebody new coming into the league can reference and scroll through that, and 99% of your questions will be answered in the UFHL rulebook, which is certainly recommended reading for anybody who's already involved in the UFHL and UFF sports, as well as anybody interested in joining the fold, just to see how serious this is and how unique and revolutionary a lot of the league is. As much as we mirror the NHL, there are still a lot of innovative features that takes fantasy gameplay to the next level and ensures that the UFHL is something you've never seen or never been a part of before, no matter how deep and impressive your fantasy league is. This is, as we like to say, the only fantasy league that the serious high-stakes players will want to be involved in the years and seasons to come.
I've certainly had comments from, general managers or different people that have happened upon this league. And I've heard things like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my luck. I finally found the Ultimate Fantasy League. I've been searching for this for years. And it's so nice to hear those kind of comments. And I guess that's why, I'm excited to be finally expanding into the 32nd franchise, just as the NHL is. And you got to remember, folks, if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to a very special live event on the UFSN network, that this is not going to happen very often. We only expand when the NHL expands. So there's only a couple of different ways that you can truly own a franchise. And this is one of them. And it's going to end in about 38 minutes, as I just see the ticker there. And the other way is if you buy a currently owned franchise, and essentially therefore, in some ways for sale almost all the time. As they say, Larry, everything's for sale for a price, right?
Absolutely. Everybody has their price. Everybody had their entry point and where they would feel comfortable selling, as well as some franchises may sell a small, a 10% share, or, they may want to maintain their 51%, but a lot of franchises would be entertaining potentially bringing on partners. But to have full control of a franchise, to be able to select, draft your own roster, this is the final opportunity to draft your own roster. And that's the big thing about the expansion franchises. We had 17 franchises as part of the inaugural draft in January 2020. And then we had 14 franchises were part of a redraft where they were able to select their rosters in July of 2020. And this is the final opportunity to go through the rosters. Every franchise will be protecting a certain number of players, exposing a certain number of players under the exact same rules as the NHL for the Seattle Kraken. And this franchise owner, this ownership group, likely, I'm assuming there'll be more than one person involved in the winning bid. There'll likely be a group of people. It'll be their opportunity, final opportunity, to select their own roster and really build this franchise from the ground up, starting with, a franchise name, logos, color schemes, jersey designs, social media accounts, websites, all the branding side, getting some merchandise set up with their logo on it, everything that comes with this package. It's so much more than just owning a fantasy team and drafting a roster. There's so many other elements that mirror the real world. You're essentially mimicking being an NHL owner. And that's why a lot of staffs do have a general manager, assistant general managers, a scouting staff. It really does mirror the NHL, building out the staff much the way an NHL organization would from the owner down.
Yeah, it's just like owning an NHL team. It's just not going to cost you a few $100 million. Really, is the main difference. And this is the way I see it. Just kind of like how you explained, Larry. You've got a group of people. You set up maybe monthly meetings, and these are events, right? You order in some pizza, you get some nice refreshments going on, and you select your hierarchy within your group. Who's going to be general manager, who's assistant general manager, director of scouting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as many of the franchises have already done. And you get together and you come up with strategies and different ways on how you're going to run your business. To me, I see it as just really a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't exist in the fantasy world right now. I mean, there are some deep dynasty leagues where maybe you have a co-GM, two guys, but we've never seen something like this where you have 5+ essentially employees, some of them with contracts within their scout to franchise contracts and franchise to GM, owner to GM contracts. But essentially, the future of fantasy sports could involve people potentially being a full-time general manager for a fantasy league as this platform grows. That could be either your full-time job on the fantasy platform, or potentially your track record on this fantasy platform could land you a real-world job. Because again, the UFHL rulebook essentially mirrors the NHL CBA. We have the same salary cap, both ceiling and floor, and all the same NHL contracts we honor. So when you look at it that way, your work here on this platform can certainly be a resume to a real world job in the NHL or some of the minor and junior leagues, working your way up to the NHL. And I know a lot of our scouts are certainly using this platform as their proof of their track record towards becoming a real world NHL scout by identifying talent and registering those prospects on the blockchain.
I think that Dean Millard is trying to tell us something, but I'm having trouble reading his lips. There he is.
Operator error. Sorry, fellas. Our first guest has arrived, so why don't you guys sit back for a couple of seconds. I'll get them all lined up, and we'll be back with Rob Love.
Sounds good.
Time for a quick lineup change, but Bates and Fish will be back right away with today's guest.
Well, there he is. Welcome, Rob Love, to the program.
What's going on, guys?
Well, you know what? We're pretty darn excited here, to be honest with you. We're giving away I said the wrong thing at the beginning. We're not giving away a franchise. We are auctioning off a franchise, the 32nd franchise, just as the NHL is expanding, the UFHL is expanding. And Rob, already well enough what it's like to own a franchise in this league.
I do, yeah. It's been great, honestly. I was really happy to finally get a team. I was in the group chats for 3 weeks maybe, and then finally someone was willing to sell, and I didn't really care what team it was, so I hopped right on, joined in on the fun. I don't regret one thing.
Perfect. So not only do you own a franchise, but you obviously very well understand scouting, or maybe I should put it this way. Maybe you understand people like me that really only know a select few players that play on my favorite teams. And I just don't have that, the encyclopedic type brain like Larry Fisher has to know all these players that are playing out in different areas of the world, and the 15-year-olds in the bantam leagues and the peewee leagues. That's beyond me. But I've seen your algorithmic program called Fantalytica, and congratulations on that design. But that is actually something that could even make me a potential scout. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically it started 2 years ago. I was in like 3 dynasty leagues, and when I first had joined, I didn't really understand what were the key factors and what a prospect needed in order to show that he had some potential to be owned in a dynasty league or on your team. And drafting, of course, if you got a draft that's, after the second round, it can be difficult to figure out who the hell to pick in the fourth round, fifth round, sixth round. So I went ahead and spent about 8 months just developing an algorithm really to predict the best suitable players to pick up at any given time in a draft or during the year or during the waiver wire. So from there, I just used it on my own in Excel, and I had an idea at some point to make it into a company and sort of create this new fantasy analytics company that could supply users that play dynasty hockey or even regular fantasy hockey with a tool that can allow them to analyze players that they have in their leagues, their unique leagues, right? Not just general general analysis, from like Dauber or other websites, right? The Athletic, they give general analysis. Well, Fanalytica goes a step further, and you could input your fantasy league settings and get a bunch of unique information. And so that was sort of the goal. And then from there, fast forward 2 years later, I hop into UFF. I see that there's a very interesting tool or very interesting platform being built. And so I thought, well, Fanalytica can perfectly mesh right into this platform. So basically, Fanalytica we're currently live with a dynasty tool that can sort of predict prospects for your league. We're not ready quite yet to join into the UFF with an endemic platform, but we're working on it with the UFF team, and so hopefully the goal is to create a tool for UFF scouts and UFF GMs and owners to sign up, get an account, and immediately enter a portal that's going to allow you to see what scouted or what prospects are owned by which scouts, which teams, what they've been traded for, basically to show the market in a nice way, and also be able to sort and filter through countless amounts of metrics, age, games played, leagues they're playing in, you name it, and then add on the algorithm that we've built. We're going to be able to sift through 50 to 100 leagues for these scouts and immediately find some of the top producing players to create a short list for scouts in record time. I mean, you could let the platform load for a couple minutes and then start filtering away, and you're going to be able to find a short list of prospects you might like that are available to be picked up within seconds, really. So that's kind of what Fanalytica does. It's just an algorithmic tool that's going to allow scout to basically not know how to scout, and to have a tool that can just pick out some of the pretty decent players, and then just give supplemental value to these scouts so that they can dig a little bit deeper into these players and go look at highlights and stuff like that and figure out which guys they want to pick up.
So it narrows your scope of time is essentially what happens. That it narrows, or it reduces the amount of time that, if you're if it's not, if you have a day job, you can't spend 24 hours a day, digging into all the details of the unknowns. It really reduces your time.
Absolutely. That's usually the goal. And also, for non-UFF users, just regular dynasty players, and most people who play dynasty end up jumping into multiple leagues. The tool is price conscious, and you're able to jump in and add in all of your leagues and figure out what type of players you should be grabbing. Like Landon Slaggert, perfect example. To the common eye, no one would know who he is, but our platform's already picking him up as someone who's got a legitimate chance to be an impact player for your fantasy team and in the NHL in general. And he was taken late in the third round. So immediately you're gonna get performance from this tool, and it gravely improves the amount of time you have to spend researching prospects for your minor system. Yeah.
Awesome. So we've actually been running a contest, Rob. And thanks to Fanalytica, to highlight this special day and this special podcast. And we are actually, I believe what we've done is we've used your tool to select a prospect out there, and we're going to give that away to somebody that is already registered on our Telegram chat page and also our Twitter page. And Larry, I think the prospect has already been chosen. We're going to get Rob to hit the spin the wheel button here in just a minute, but But Larry, you probably got a little bit of a bird's eye view on how this thing worked, and what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I can speak to the value of Fanalytica in the scope of scouting and identifying talent. No matter how good of a real world scout you are, Fanalytica is going to be an essential tool to function in any dynasty league, but certainly in UFF sports and the UFHL, because that ability to create that short list, because right now on our platform, it shows all the prospects that are owned, but it doesn't show the prospects that are unowned. There is no way on UFFsports.com to find the available prospects. Our challenge to scouts is no different than real world scouting. It's your job to go out and find the talent and register it on the blockchain. Rob's tool with Fanalytica saves them all that work by allowing them to enter in the stats, scoring categories for UFHL, as well as the leagues they want to scout. And it will spit out that short list immediately to speed up the process. So any scout that wants an upper hand or expedite the process will certainly want to be a Fanalytica user, and it'll be seamless between Fanalytica and UFF Sports and the platform. So an essential tool for the scouting agencies that are already signed up for UFF Sports, and anybody who wants to get involved with UFF Sports. I think you'll be selling yourself short and putting in a lot of extra hours, a lot of extra legwork if you're not using the Fanalytica tool. But as far as the process for selecting the mystery prospect, I'll let Rob sort of explain how it went, but he did bounce some names off me, and together we selected one of the top available prospects.
Yeah, so we basically, me and Larry, well, first off, I went through and grabbed let's say around 11 or 10 of the best available prospects that were still draft eligible. I didn't want to go around picking high end 22-year-olds. I wanted to grab somebody that has legitimate potential to be a solid player. So we ended up with or Larry, can I announce the name, or am I announcing the name of the player after the winner?
It's entirely up to you. We can do the name of the player now and then spin the wheel, and the winner gets a sneak preview of who their player is going to be.
Okay, so I think I can screen share, right? I can pull him up on Elite Prospects.
I don't think it'll screen share on this
can't
software.
Screen share. No, you
Okay.
can't screen share. Just give us the name and I'll spin the wheel and we'll find out who's getting it. And then we have Luke waiting in the wings.
Got it. Okay, so the player is out of Russia. He's 17 years old. He turns 18 in September. His name is Dmitry Buchelnikov. I definitely botched that name. 5'9", not the tallest guy, but he played for Viragi Morozova in the MHL, was a point per game player there, and then he moved over to St. Petersburg, or maybe that was the other way around. I'm not sure which team he was on first, but he has been producing at a very nice clip this entire year in the MHL. So there's a decent chance that he gets picked in the NHL draft this year, and if he doesn't get picked in the NHL draft, I would not be surprised to see him climb through the ranks of the Russian leagues and find himself playing in the NHL at some point in his career. Just like with anybody that's not draft eligible, especially in this year, given COVID and the scouting difficulties with the NHL teams, no prospect is a sure thing this year. But of all the players that were available, and I guess this is a bode to the scouting that's been done thus far, I was surprised at how dry the available players were from my platform that are that were available. So without further ado, I will spin or do I spin the raffle generator, or is that not me? I've got it pulled up.
You can tell me and I'll spin it.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean you're ready to spin it whenever you're ready.
Here we go. Rubbing my hands together.
Oh,
it's just over the line. Read it out there, Rob.
Is that Nelson Martins? That's Nelson Martins. Congratulations. You've won Dmitry.
Martin.
Yeah.
Dmitry Buchelnikov is off to the Wise Guys scouting agency. Nelson Martins is a member of the UFFS community already. Nelson has been scouting for the Godfathers in the UFHL, as well as the Enforcers in the UFAHL. So they get to welcome Dmitry Buchelnikov to the fold. As Rob said, a prospect showing a lot of potential in Russia at the MHL level, having moved over to SKA St. Petersburg. SKA is... Oh, Darren, I think we got a new bid in.
We did. I heard the sound. Absolutely. $3,150 with 21 minutes. So yeah, just over 21 minutes left in the bidding. But I want to remind everybody that if the last minute bids come in, we do extend the auction process. So you don't have to worry about the last minute bid, except for a little bit internet lag. I've learned that from experience. If you have slow internet, don't pause on the bid button. That's for sure. Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, I was just saying that Dmitry Buchelnikov, having moved over to SKA St. Petersburg, SKA obviously being the program that produces a lot of the top Russian prospects for the NHL, including the current NHL rookie scoring leader, Kirill Kaprizov. I see Buchelnikov potentially being like a Kaprizov. Kaprizov was a 5th-round pick. You look at another undersized Russian forward, Dmitry Ovchinnikov was another mid-round, I believe 5th-round pick for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, similar size to Buchelnikov from the 2020 draft. Ovchinnikov's been one of the real risers from that draft class, has been tearing it up in the same MHL level as Buchelnikov. So I think this is a prospect that has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and to mention real quick, Buchelnikov's 5th in total scoring for under 18 MHL players. Michkov, Poltapov, Petrov, and Fedotov are the players above him, and then he's 5th. So that's got to be pretty promising for the winner.
Okay, guys, we've got another bid in. We're at $3,500. Rob, thank you so much for joining us on the program, and sit tight, Larry, Darren. We're going to be back with our next guest in just 2 seconds.
Sure thing.
Time for a quick lineup change, but Bates and Fish, they'll be back right away with today's guest.
Well, you know, Fish, there's sometimes when it was just impolite to be interrupted. When I hear that cash register sound, that thing can interrupt me all day long, you know. So brand new bid, $3,500, pretty exciting, and I think we're going to hear a lot more cash register sounds here as we get to the end of the program. So be ready for a little bit of interruption. Speaking of interruptions, it's not really an interruption, but I didn't even have time to go change my hat from a cowboy hat to get my fur hat and get my bottle of vodka. Luke, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I hope you hear me.
Absolutely. Hear you loud and clear. Good
Perfect.
to see you again all the way from Quebec. And proud to have, of course, the owner of the Red Army. Trying to think what place you're sitting in the UFHL. You know, I thought you were in 19th spot. Am I correct?
Nah, that was what I had read in the power ranking. I don't know what happens. I think maybe my team have overperformed a bit, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a strategy in place or not. Fish might have something to say about that. I think he called a blockbuster trade on the UFHL Now program the other day. The Larry Insider, he knows what's going on, and I think he's starting to figure you out, Luke.
Yeah, I wondered how he knew it, and I think I finally understood how the Insider did his play to knew about Malkin. In fact, I had no intention to trade Evgeny Malkin, but I'll just take off my glass because all I see is the flare. I got a phone call from Elite Assassins about the forward I acquired from him, the Jets players, and I had tried before to acquire him, but he wasn't available at the time. And since then, I acquired Rantanen from Colorado Avalanche, and Rantanen is at $9.2 million. So I had no more cap space when he said, "Hey, Red Army, do you want a Kyle Connor?" So I said, "Well, if I'm to do this, I'll have to let go a high salary." And I told him I'll think about it, but it could be Malkin, but I'm not inclined to train him, but I'll give it a thought. So I guess that from there, probably there was a leak from maybe Elite Assassins. I don't know. Maybe you have talked about it to someone, and the great insider, heard about that. So that's simply how it happened.
Yeah, no, what a blockbuster that was, and to happen within 24 hours of the UFHL now debut episode. To see, especially mid-season trades, even in fantasy in a salary cap world, it's hard to. There was so many. I think we have 15 franchises within 3 million of the cap ceiling, so it's hard to pull off a blockbuster trade like that. So congratulations to both the Red Army and Elite Assassins for swapping Evgeny Malkin along with Gabriel Velarde of the Los Angeles Kings, and some cash considerations to land Kyle Connor, who's obviously a younger, cheaper cap hit, younger player who's outproducing Malkin this year. So it's definitely another nice upgrade for the win now performance of Red Army. And I know you mentioned off the top, Darren, but I think we have to certainly highlight where Red Army is in the standings. Luc Grenier's franchise is leading the way after a big weekend where he has the Philadelphia Flyers goaltending tandem of Carter Hart and Brian Elliott, and they pitched back-to-back shutouts to open up a little bit of a gap on top of the standings, because heading into the weekend, at one point on Thursday, Red Army, Yetis, and Ice Vikings were all tied with identical fantasy points, and Titans weren't far behind. And now coming out of the weekend, Red Army's opened up almost a 50-point gap there on top of the standings in a total points format.
But we're not done yet. This is the great Fantastic Four at the top, and it can change any day.
Yeah, Luke, we Dean and I on the last podcast we had, I think it was podcast number 18, or give or take. I'm not even sure on the numbers anymore. We were joking a little bit about the Red Army and the number 19, and we were talking about the preseason. I guess it was kind of a mock preseason rankings is what it was, and a lot of people submitted their rankings and saw you at number 19, and we thought, we could probably get your blood boiling if we talk about that, and we were talking about your shtick. You're such a character in the Telegram chats, and I think what we're trying to get across to potential owners and people interested in joining this league is that there's a lot of fun that happens behind the scenes on the Telegram chats, and you make me laugh very often, and I think it's you're definitely a character where we're super happy to have you in the UFHL. It makes me smile every single day, but you've got a certain mystique there going there too. You pretend you don't know what you're doing, but I think we all know you definitely know what you're doing.
I know. I'm just doing my best. I barely knew hockey 20 years ago. So, no, man, I'm joking about the power rankings, because quite honestly, I was third on the power ranking when we made it. But I noted that one owner ranked me 19. So it really motivated me to make moves and to make sure that I'm not third, I'm not first, I'm better than that. And I have some pressure from Putin to perform, Serious one.
Yeah. And, congratulations are in order as well, because you're the first franchise to hit 1,000 points in the UFHL Fantasy League. I think now they're, I don't know, probably quite a bit ahead of that now.
Oh. Yeah, there you go, Luke. Another bid came in. You're obviously following the auction closely. We're at 3,600 USD. Yeah. You can probably speak, Luke, to the values of these franchises and the amount that you've invested in Red Army, as well as where you see this platform going, as far as maybe a bit of, not a sales pitch, but a bit of a spiel to the potential bidders as to where this auction is at 3,600 and where you see the value of Red Army.
Yeah, quite honestly, it's a bargain at 3,600 right now. Because sometimes you want to acquire a top player and you pay more than half of that. You can pay $2,000 to acquire a player, a very good one, and that's a 2-day price. But prices are going up all the time. So honestly, it's a big value, and when you get in, then you have opportunity to make trades, to acquire players, and to win real cash, big cash. So. That's a league that you want to be in. And I know that probably some bidders are listening, and my message is bid and outbid.
I like your message. $3,750. I just saw on the Air Auctioneer site. And again, I want to remind folks, if you're just tuning in, this is a live podcast, and you can submit a last minute bid as long as your internet doesn't lag, because that can happen. And we will extend the bidding process for I believe another minute every bid that does come in. So even though you kind of feel like you're last minute, we can extend until the bidding process is officially closed. And Luke, I think you're absolutely correct. It is a steal. I do have a question for you, though. The value of having a strong affiliated scout. Scouting is the platform of this league, and I think you've got yourself a good one.
I got the best one. Yeah, I love working with Jeff Ray. You know, having a guy who follow young players all over Europe, but also all over the world, is really important, because when you want to draft, you have as a GM your own idea of who you should pick. And I'm talking all the time to numerous people that are outside this league. Some that I work with, some that cover NHL, some that cover juniors. But having someone that you can call anytime and say, hey, do you know what? Have you heard about that player? What do you think of him? Should we trade for him? It gives you a second opinion. But having a scout in this league also means that you can have more players outside your protected list. And this is real important, because otherwise you could not have as much player as you can have with a scout. So this is really important. And you get great opportunity to get great players. And I really love working with Jeff. And I told him, as long as I'll be here, I'll work with him. I'm really someone that really like to keep the people I work with around me for a long time. And when I have a fit, I have a fit. And I have a fit with Jeff. And Jeff is with Red Army for the long haul.
No, that's great, Luke. And I know you have Adam Stevens recently hired as an assistant general manager as well, and another scout in Andrew Grover, who sort of oversees the secondary pool with Jeff as far as the Red Army prospects. And I don't know if you were watching the NFT giveaway just before you came on, but a Russian somehow slipped through the cracks there. Dmitry Buchelnikov is with the Wise Guys scouting and Nelson Martins. So you might want to keep an eye on Dmitry Buchelnikov and have Andrew and Jeff track his progress as well. He's performing pretty well in the MHL. He might be a future target for Alpine Prospects Scouting Agency, which is the scouting agency that Jeff Ray heads up, along with Andrew Grover, who are affiliated with the Red Army. So just hearing that, you can see how big the scope is here. And Jeff Ray, obviously a real world scout. He scouts for a bit for Dauber Prospects and has recently joined forces with Mick Portini with Draft in Europe, who's a independent scouting agency or independent scouting source in Europe. And Mick Portoni has an excellent reputation in Europe. All the NHL teams and the real NHL scouts and insiders subscribe to Draft in Europe for their rankings and their affiliation. And Jeff Ray's working with Draft in Europe now, as well as has a background with Dauber Prospects. So a ton of real world people getting involved with this platform. And I think you got yourself a good one with Jeff Ray being under the part of the umbrella under Red Army.
And you know what? I'm sure that the Wise Guys will call me about that Russian player, because I had talked with them today. Obviously, some talk that the insider haven't heard about. It didn't lead us to a trade, but often teams, scouts call me, message me, tells me, hey, are you interested in this guy? So I'm sure that I will hear about that player in a near future. And I just want to take the opportunity to talk about Adam Stephens too, because you mentioned it. You mentioned him, Larry, and I'm real happy to have Adam with Red Army with us. Adam has left, and he was not well, and he's coming back at his speed. And I'll take him until the end of the season. And beyond that, if he wants, I don't know what he'll decide to do. Maybe he'll decide to join Red Army on long terms after the season. Maybe he'll decide to, I don't know, buy a team, be a GM somewhere, and whatever he decides, Red Army will be behind him. He's a friend, and he's an asset. He's another guy that I message all the time and say, hey, what do you think about that trade? And the Malkin trade, Adam told me, hey, just do it, man.
Nice. And you obviously have struck a deal with the Wise Guys, and obviously their UFHL franchise. The Godfathers were the last blockbuster you did for Mikko Rantanen. So obviously you have a trade history established with the Godfathers and with Nelson from the Wise Guys Scouting. So wouldn't be surprising if Red Army and the Godfathers strike another deal before the April 12th trade deadline.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but I'm just joking about it. But we have acquired Eric Portillo also from that team. They are genuine people, real fun to talk with, and always easy to deal with.
Kind words, Luke. I think we might have to get on to our next guest, and I thank you for joining the program. I am very excited for you to find out who you're going to be bargaining with in the back room here in just a few minutes, with probably under 10 minutes left in this auction, potentially, unless we extend it, of course. See you later, Luke. And Dean, producer Dean, do we have our next guest lined up?
Not yet, no. So you guys are doing a little tap dancing, and we're waiting for Tony.
I saw you show up from the marsh there, and I thought you were trying to tell us something. So, yeah, I know we could have kept Luke on the program for a little bit longer, but, the Red Army is so much fun. The silent partner stick that Luke's got going on. And to be honest with you, Larry, I'm never really sure if he's joking or if he's actually telling the truth. I think he does have some silent partners there that we just don't want to mess with.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of secrecy there from Luke. Being the insider, I don't know what his ownership group consists of. I obviously know his staff, his assistant general manager, Adam Stevens, his affiliation with Alpine Prospect Scouting Agency with Jeff Ray and Andrew Grover. But Luke has invested the most of any franchise in his roster, his protected list, his staffing. So I look at that, and it wouldn't be surprising. I don't know if Vladimir Putin's in his ear, but I wouldn't be surprising if he has a group behind him helping fund the Red Army, and certainly going forward, the Red Army's valuation, when you look at the talent they have as a win now franchise and as a future franchise, guys like Alexis Lafreniere, Tim Stützle, Jamie Drysdale, they really loaded up at this 2020 NHL draft, UFHL entry auction. Even the Russian goaltender Yaroslav Askarov is in the future fold for Red Army. So I look at that franchise as we're seeing this auction wind down. We're getting close to the 4,000 USD.
We've passed 4,000.
There we go. Exactly. We're up to 4,500 USD on the auction with less than 5 minutes to go, which is obviously an impressive bid, a new record-setting sale price for the UFHL. But I look at Red Army, and like Luke said, if he was to reach out and try to acquire Connor McDavid from the Yetis, or Sidney Crosby from the Brutes, one of these potential Legends League players, as well as a current player, that Alex Ovechkin from the Royals, those players individually as a digital asset are worth more than this current franchise price, which you're getting 31 players as well as two franchises. So in total, between the two franchises, you can own up to 90 NFTs, up to 90 players, because you have 23-man active roster and a 27-man protected list in the UFHL, and your UFAHL affiliate, that equals 50 players. Your UFAHL affiliate can have a 20-man active roster and a 20-man protected list. So you're getting 40 players at the UFAHL. You'll have to acquire between now and the 2022-23 season to start, but you'll have 8 extra picks beyond your 23-man roster from the UFHL. So 50 in the UFHL, 40 in the UFAHL. Combined, this franchise owner can own up to 90 players as NFTs. So if one player could potentially be worth $10,000 as a benchmark as of today, you can tell what this franchise, again, with all the branding and everything that comes with it, the value is about to soar, especially with the platform launching in March, the token sale coming in May. The sky is the limit, and I think whoever ends up being the winning bidder here in the final 5 minutes, or as the auction extends, is going to be very happy with their purchase. And and becoming a part of the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League.
Okay, guys, we're just under 2.5 minutes, so I've got the haunch lined up, and we'll get to him in 2 seconds here.
This is the UFFS podcast, Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, where you own the game. Fantasy Sports, where you own the game.
There he is. There he is. The launch himself.
Hey, gentlemen.
All right, I think, Tony, you got to turn down your
Hey,
speakers
gentlemen.
a bit.
You're behind.
Sounds like a party. Sounds like a party to me. You guys having fun? I think he went silent on us. Oh, must be internet issues. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, the internet's a little slow down here.
Went silent on us. Oh, must be internet issues. We'll do the best we can.
Things are moving up there, gentlemen. Yeah, the internet's a little slow down here.
They sure are. Current bid, $4,500. Luke Grenier himself. Whoa, there we go. $4,600. It just appeared right on my screen as I see it.
We have an audio issue with Tony, so I'm just trying to get that. So you guys can chat about the auction while I try and sort this out with Tony here.
So you think about it, Larry, we talk about non-fungible tokens, is really all the rage with utility in the UFHL, UFFS platform. And the franchise owner is going to come into a community that's not only going to be about hockey, because we are expanding. And there we go. We have another, whatever it was at, I think another $300, $4,900. I think we're going to get this thing up to an absolute astounding $5,000. Larry, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, the bids are coming in. We're down into the final minute of the UFHL expansion franchise auction. And as we expected, things are heating up in this bidding war. And we've hit the $5,000 USD mark, which you look at the previous record high franchise was Rob Love, our first guest, had 2,200. And then Curtis Johnson, Rob Love bought the Tornadoes. And then Curtis Johnson came into the fold in December, actually, and bought the Generals. Bought the Bombers franchise, which became the Generals, and paid 2,400 USD. So all the UFHL franchise owners have to be celebrating as we see it soaring over double the valuation that they paid as an entry point. And again, this is just the beginning, where the platform hasn't even launched. The token sale hasn't happened. The potential of UFF Sports is like I say, the sky is the limit. And this could look like a huge steal a year from now, 6 months from now, maybe even a month from now. The bidders who miss out on the expansion franchise will certainly circle back and potentially buy other franchises in and around this price point. So all the current UFHL franchise owners, the early adopters, have to be celebrating right now as they watch the bidding war play out in the final minute.
And I think for anybody who's just tuning in and is trying to get a bid in, you can see that when you submit a bid, it does extend for at least another minute. So now at $5,300, and we are down to the last minute now, considering a little bit of internet lag, depending on where you are in the world. You'd probably want to be hitting that bid button right about now to extend that time again. But I think we're going to see some more come in here. So we talk about Zilliqa, our fantastic partner. These guys have been great to work with, Larry. I know you have a lot of interaction with them. They've got so many different things going on in, within their community, their company, and their blockchain. That UFFS is just a small part of. Well, actually, I should say we're a pretty large part of what they do, but they've got many things that are going to bring value to everything that they do, as well as what we do, because everything kind of works together on the blockchain.
And Darren, we literally just had a buzzer beater. I was about to announce the winning bid going to Kelly Rudy Button, which obviously everybody knows who Kelly Rudy is. Everybody knows Craig Button is. I'm not sure who's behind that group, but they had the leading bid at 5,300. And a group headed by Bartlett came in at 5,500. And just now, Brian Boyer has re-entered the bidding at 5,600. Kelly Rudy Button back up to 5,800. And the bidding war is officially on.
Ching, ching, ching. Like I said, I don't mind being interrupted when it's cash registers going off like that. This is hot and heavy. It's kind of exciting to watch. To be honest, I don't even want to talk. I just want to sit back and watch the action is what I want to do. But this is pretty exciting. This is pretty exciting stuff.
And it really speaks to the potential of this platform. You see what NBA Top Shots is doing in the NBA, you know, with 200 million USD in sales in 2021. So you're averaging 100 million in sales per month. It's growing every month for that platform. And you compare the two platforms, the two blockchains, and the potential of UFF Sports is to reach that level, if not exceed that level. So you look at this at the sale price, and a lot of people are probably saying, wow, $5,800. And obviously everybody in the UFFS community is thrilled to see that valuation at $5,800, up from, like I said, $2,400 just a couple months ago. But the success of NBA Top Shots, the fact that NFTs are all the rage and the cryptocurrency is booming right now, I think everybody knows this is the future. And certainly UFF Sports is the only fantasy sports on the blockchain as of today. Right now, we solely have hockey. We're expanding. Next Monday, we'll introduce the second sport. There'll be more sports coming on board in the fall. And certainly we've now hit 6,000 USD on the current bid. So there's a ton of interest in this franchise, and it's great to see playing out. Everybody should be happy, and we can't wait to welcome the new owner, whoever it may be, here in the coming minutes.
You know, and branding's a big part of it. We focus, you know, within our own community here at UFFS, everything is Ultimate Fantasy something, right? So we've got UFFS, we've now got the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network, which we're broadcasting live on right now. You know, the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League and the Ultimate Fantasy American Hockey League. And branding is key to us. Of course, you already mentioned this today, Larry, that when you acquire this franchise for the lucky individual that submits the actual winning bid, you're going to want to focus on that branding aspect, because we do have a UFHL. There we go, ching, ching, ching. We do have a UFHL merch shop, and we do anticipate the merchandise to be a key part of this as well. We do have, you know, a guy, and I'm going to give him a shout out, Larry. Mojo Designs has done a lot of work for a lot of our franchise owners and even the scouts and other, as well as for us at UFFS here. Doing a fantastic job. And Mojo, if you're up to the task, you might have a couple more logos to work on here in just the next little while.
Yeah, we obviously Mojo's Morgan Bray has done great work on the designs, and we thought we had a winning bidder there. It was down to the last second with Kelly Rudy Button at 6,300, and boom, the Bartlett Group came in heavy with a 6,900 USD bid right at the buzzer beater. So it's back and forth now. There's still a few groups involved, but certainly Bartlett has upped the bid by $600 to 6,900, and Kelly Rudy Button just answered right back with a 7,300 USD bid. So that group is it's going back and forth. This is an exciting war. And you mentioned, though, Morgan Bray, as one of our main graphic designers, has done a ton of great work with the branding aspect. A number of franchises rebranding, again, taking it seriously, right? There was some sort of, I don't want to say cheap graphics, but there was some just bare bones graphics as far as franchise logos and stuff. And now a lot of the franchises realized, hey, if we're going to sell merchandise, we want a professional looking brand. And they've hired Morgan Bray of Mojo Designs or who some of the logos, and also did great work. So it's great to see a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different skill sets are finding a niche working in the UFHL and with the UFF Sports platform. So a shout out to Morgan Bray for the excellent brand launches he's been putting out for UFHL franchises, and he may have another one on his hands here momentarily as this bidding war winds down. It'll be interesting to hear the new franchise name, the new logo, everything. It's going to be super exciting in the coming days and weeks.
$7,500. We were down to the last 30 seconds. I was just about to announce it. And we extended it yet another minute. This is exciting, Fish. Hey, I want to talk about the fact that, you know, we were just talking about branding and designing logos. We do have that UFHL merchandise shop, and we do have a contest. You know, for those of you, we did ask a poll at UFHL League, our Twitter page. What do you think this expansion franchise is going to sell for? I love pausing to hear that sound. I'll pause and get interrupted by that sound all day, Fish. But, you know, we had this this poll going, and really what we're looking for is what was the most popular answer in the poll. You'll just have to go back and scroll through all the tweets at UFHL League on Twitter to find the most popular answer. We are not looking for what this franchise sells for. We're looking for the most popular answer, and send your answers to info@uffsports.com, or you can DM at Zelandria. And there we go, Larry. We have another one, $8,500.
And going back to that poll on Twitter, the final option, or the fourth option, was that the UFHL expansion franchise would sell for 8,000 plus, and here we are at 8,500 USD. So certainly now 9,000 USD, as the Kelly Rudy Button Group has answered back again, and it's been down to the Bartlett Group as well as the Kelly Rudy Button Group down the stretch here. But you love to see that number, 9,000 USD. And again, all these franchises as a startup, working primarily from a spreadsheet league for the last year, and having these early adopters really buy into the UFF Sports concept and the vision. And now to see the platform sort of be revealed this morning, we did a YouTube video, kind of a sneak peek preview of what the platform's going to look like. I think that generated a lot of excitement. And again, the NBA Top Shot success, and seeing that is sort of a smaller scale version of what we're doing here at UFF Sports. So it's not a surprise to me to see $9,000 as the leading bid, and a year from now, or even 6 months, couple months from now, that might still be a bargain. And certainly you look at some of these.
Here we go. Oh, here we go.
Oh, and there was a buzzer beater again.
There was. Wow.
9,500.
That's that internet lag I was talking about. You got to be careful with that, depending on your internet service. I've seen it happen before, where people try to submit a bid last minute and they barely make it, or don't even get in at all. I've seen that circumstance as well. So don't wait until the very last seconds. Just giving you that warning. $9,500. This is great to see. Great to see.
And we're counting it down again here. We'll see if we get another buzzer beater, or if we have a winning bid at 9,500.
This is so incredible. This when you're bidding on players, you're waiting to the last minute, but there's other players. I would not be waiting to the last second on this, as we're under 10 to go.
Here we go. 8, 7, 6.
There's the bid.
Oh, and another buzzer beater.
See, that's smart. Don't wait till like under 5 seconds, because there could be internet problems, right? Get that bid in. I know it's all strategy and stuff, but I would hate to lose out on a franchise because my internet crapped out at that second.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And this is a live podcast. I want to remind people that. So one thing we didn't touch on today is there could be somebody new here, Fish and Dean, that might not know that on our website you can actually go and you can even read through the mock draft that you put together, Fish, which is going to be extremely helpful for this successful bidder of this franchise.
Yeah, it showed a general overview of the current rosters as of February 13th, the projected players that would be exposed, as well as who the franchises would protect if I was the GM of all 31 franchises. So much like you're seeing a lot of mock expansion drafts for the Seattle Kraken, I put one together for the UFHL and sort of showed these bidders what your talent pool could look like. And then obviously
$10,000. Sorry, Larry. We sometimes we just have to interrupt, and we'll let you continue, but we just had to point out the $10,000 mark, because that's a pretty amazing benchmark.
Yeah, there's reason to celebrate when you hit the 10,000 USD franchise valuation. And again, as I've been saying, Duckman's domination, Dean knows his entry point, and as do all the other franchises. And certainly we're getting close to that 10 times valuation for a lot of franchises that came in at that 1,500 USD sort of mark in the fall. So you can see how much this platform's taking off. And again, for the bidder that doesn't emerge as successful and gets that expansion draft experience, building it from the ground up, that's such a cool experience and what you really want with this auction. But for the runner-up bidders, and there's a number of them, we've had probably 10 unique bidders here. Those franchises can circle back and buy another existing franchise at any time at this price point or similar.
I think the bidding is over.
It looks like we have a successful brand new franchise owner at $10,000. I can't see on my screen who it is.
It's the Bartlett Group, and I'm not exactly sure who's heading up that group. I don't know if they're in the Telegram chats, but the Bartlett Group has been interested all month long. They've been involved, and they ended up walking away as the new franchise owner, outbidding the Kelly Rudy Button Group at 10,000 USD. So congratulations to the Bartlett Group on becoming the 32nd franchise owner in the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League.
Congratulations to the Bartlett Group. Happy to welcome you to the UFFS family in the UFHL League. You're in for a wild ride. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I can guarantee that all our franchise owners, scouts, and GMs, and everybody else involved in our community are tuned in right now. Just their hands are all going together. How can I got to get this contact person or contact information for this person? And I'm sure there's all kinds of strategies coming together, and it's going to be really interesting to watch this draft. It's going to be really interesting to watch this draft.
Exactly. And so the first thing the Bartlett Group wants to do is get on Telegram, get networking with the 31 existing franchises, because between now and July 17th, which is the deadline for the franchises to submit their protected list, the Bartlett Group can right off the bat start negotiating, much like Vegas did in the NHL, right? They made trades with 10 of the 30 franchises as part of their expansion draft selection. So they can negotiate based on that mock expansion draft and the current rosters, who they want from each franchise, and they can line up trades. None of the trades will be announced until the expansion draft on July 21st. That would be their selection from that team or that franchise if they make a trade, but they can certainly start negotiating trades. They got all the branding aspects they can get going on right away, as well as highly recommended, as Dean recommended on the last UFF Sports podcast. You definitely want to get a scouting agency set up, start building out that UFAHL roster with potential prospects for a year and a half down the road. So get a scouting agency set up amongst your group, start scouting talent, and certainly start working the phone lines, working the Telegram DMs with the current owners and negotiating some trades and sort of planning as well as, like I said, maybe contact Morgan Bray of Mojo Designs, or perhaps they have their own graphic designer. But let's get that franchise name and logo done up, and just an absolutely exciting time for the Bartlett Group to be joining the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League for 10,000 USD.
And it's also an exciting time, everybody, for us, the rest of the owners, because just like in the NHL, there's an expansion franchise fee that they have just paid, and that gets split up. So as an owner in this league, seeing that price go up and up and up was great, because I know I'm getting a piece of that pie. The league does. So just like in the NHL, all the other owners get to share in this, I guess, great day that we're having here.
It's a sharing, welcoming community. Get in the Telegram chats. We're happy to help you out. And this has been a very, very exciting day. I want to thank everybody who helped out. Producer Dean, owner of Duckman's Nominations, thanks for handling everything. You've been really busy behind the scenes. Fish, of course, amazing as usual. And I certainly want to thank today's guests, Rob Love of Fanalytica, our first free NFT giveaway, I guess you could say. We haven't absolutely, well, I guess we do give them away with part of the when we initially launched this thing, but this is free since we've been up and running. So that was pretty exciting, introducing that platform. I think we have a pretty good understanding of the value of that. If you're a scout, or even if you're not a scout, a guy like me can certainly use that. And I want to thank Luc Grenier. He's got his own little sideline power partner thing going on there. I'm not sure what's going on, but whatever he's doing, it's working, because he's leading the UFHL at this moment in time. So I want to thank our guests. And Tony C., the haunch. Well, things are just different down in Costa Rica, so I can't even comment on that. But this was a very exciting day. Oh, absolutely. And like I said, starting off with Rob Love from Fanalytica, awarding the free NFT prospect, which became Dmitry Buchelnikov, a Russian prospect, going to Nelson Martins of Wise Guys Scouting, who's affiliated with the Godfathers franchise in the UFHL. So that was an exciting giveaway. And then to finish it off at 10,000 USD, such a nice round figure, round number, 10,000 USD. First franchise to sell for 5 figures in the UFHL, and to welcome the Bartlett Group as the 32nd franchise owner in the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League, and for them to get the full expansion experience. So whether that means hiring a GM or perhaps they have their group and their franchise name and their logo already set up, ready to reveal, but certainly hopefully getting to know the Bartlett Group more in the week to come. And as Dean said, the revenue sharing from the franchise sales. So
the way that worked, the UFFS platform took the first 200 USD as a deposit for the new franchise, essentially matching what the entry fee was for this debut, our first full season for the 31 existing franchise owners. So you minus $200, you're at 9,800 USD. That was divided 31 ways for the 31 existing franchises to compensate for losing one player each in the expansion draft. And I did the math quickly there. That's $316.13 USD for each franchise owner in the UFHL, the existing franchises. So they have they're all 316 USD richer as of today, thanks to the Bartlett Group and the winning bid at 10,000 USD for the 32nd franchise in the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League.
Couldn't have planned it better, landing on a nice round 4-figure number at 10,000 USD. And I want to thank everybody that tuned in and took time out of their day to join us here on the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. Don't forget that we have many shows on the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network where we want to be your one-stop fantasy sports shop. UFFS podcast comes your way every second week, 2 Minute Tuesday every Tuesday, of course. Fantasy Hockey Time, UFHL Now just launched last week, and of course, Tracking the Draft with Dean Millard and Craig Button. Thank you for joining us. This has been a live event on UFFS podcast, where you own the game.
This has been the UFFS podcast with Darren Bates and Larry Fisher. Get in the game where you own the game at www.uffs.com.